Hi everybody, it is Miss Tinks here. Happy Wednesday. I hope you're all having a really good week so far. I know that most of us have gone back to school this week, so I hope that you're getting settled back into being at school and being in routine and things like that. I know it's super tricky because obviously we've not been back that long and then we've had some holiday time and it's a bit difficult getting back into routine. I know that I found it difficult this week to get back on top of everything. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about stress and what that actually means, and more specifically today I'm going to go through with you the difference between what we would call acute stress and then what is chronic stress basically. And what I've done, I've got some slides from my Understanding and Managing Stress program, which if you want to know more about the actual teaching program itself, if you're a teacher or an educator or you work in schools, then on my website misstinks.co.uk in the shop section you can actually have a look at the teaching program on Understanding and Managing Stress. And whilst it is the month of April, which is Stress Awareness Month, it's actually half price at the moment as well. I'm not going to say any more about it on that one, but you can also have a look back through my socials. I've done some videos recently explaining that in a little bit more detail because there's some add-on options and stuff like that too. But today I'm just going to talk to you about acute versus chronic stress. And like I say, these slides have all come from my training program on this. So some of these slides are suited to the children. Some of them are obviously a bit more suited to staff. They've got lots of information to take in, more words than pictures and that sort of thing. So that's why these look a little bit different. So initially, to understand stress, you would look at the chemicals of it. It's a completely neurological, unconscious response that you cannot do anything about. When your amygdala, which we can also call your makeup brain, perceives danger, whether it's actual danger or what your body just thinks is what your brain just thinks is danger, it releases adrenaline and other chemicals around your body. So they come from your brain and then they go around your body, and it kind of puts your body into that fight, flight, or freeze mode. Okay, so you're then thinking about what could be going on from there. Okay, and your body starts to respond by doing things like racing your heart, making you feel a little bit hot, a little bit sweaty, obviously can make you feel a bit unsure, a little bit sick. Everybody's body responds in slightly different ways to it, but that is essentially what causes it, is your chemicals and your adrenaline being released and rushing around your body. Now the thing is with these chemicals, if we don't use them up, or if we don't a little bit, or if we don't use them up at all, they can stay in your body for hours afterwards, and we call it toxifying your body. Okay, so situations like these pictures where you feel like you've got a lot to do, or what you're doing is not going very well, or you just don't quite feel like you're in the mood because of maybe something else that's already going on before you started to work, for example, those stress chemicals that are now running around your body, they can be there for hours and hours afterwards. So actually you can feel the stress for quite a long time. Now the thing with chronic and acute stress is they then feel quite differently. Okay, and these are some of the places that they can come from. So acute stress is very sudden reactions, like slamming on the brakes when you're driving a car, or like somebody running across the front of you so you stop very suddenly, somebody opening a door on you when you didn't know they were there, and things like that. It could be a temporary change if you're facing your fear, or you're facing a phobia, like you get on a roller coaster, or you do something like go ape where you're up and you're with heights if you don't like heights and things like that. And it can also be things like competitions. So I know that my adrenaline is always going when I go out to do my skating competitions. If you've got a deadline to meet, an exam to study for, a job interview, and all that sort of thing. So acute stress is situations that will pass and you will be done at some point. Okay. Chronic stress, however, is something quite different. So that could be because of your neighbours, it could be friends, family, or any relationships that you have. That chronic is lasting a long time. It's not going to go away after a few hours or a few minutes. Chronic can be months or maybe even years worth of stress on your body all the time. Okay, it could be living at home, it could be your household, whether that's where you live or the people in it. It could be things that you go to do, like your hobbies, or if you go to school, or if you go to work. And again, it could be relationships with the people that you have at work. There is literally so many different things that could cause you chronic stress. And the thing with chronic stress is a lot of people don't realize that they're under that chronic stress, because they think that it's all right, I can deal with it, I'll just carry on. And they don't understand necessarily the repercussions of what having those stress levels up all the time do, especially when it's releasing that adrenaline a lot and your body's not necessarily using it up, and it's toxifying your body for hours and hours afterwards. Okay, so in adults, stress is kind of subtle changes, or one thing at once, or maybe a couple of very minor changes in your responses to things and the way you deal with things and the way that you feel, because as adults we have a much bigger knowledge of experiences, we have a much wider understanding of the world than children do. So we will deal with things by comfort eating or not eating at all, maybe for 24 hours, something like that, you know, or feeling quite tired so you get an early night and those sorts of things. It's quite subtle changes, whereas with children these symptoms can be more polarized and they can swap quite quickly between the two. So children can go from having diarrhea to being constipated. They can go from being super confident, almost overconfident and arrogant, to not wanting to talk to you at all and being very withdrawn. Oversleeping, not being able to sleep, being really focused and really on it, really responsive to praise, and then you can't get them to pick up a pencil. They really kind of do go one way or the other with their confidence, with their actual physical well-being, and all that sort of stuff as well. So children can also, obviously, their stress can manifest in things like bedwetting, having very bad dreams, being clingy, being tearful, and obviously they come from either being withdrawn, oversleeping, undersleeping, you know, overconfident, all that sort of stuff. So children do have that lesser knowledge of what is actually to be feared, what is genuinely stressful and genuinely something to be scared of, versus what they perceive as stress, because they have less life experiences than us. And the thing to remember there is, at that point, children look to you for that response. If a child has never seen something before and you're in the same stressful situation as them, they will look at something, they will look at you and they will go, right, well, however you deal with that is however I'm going to deal with that. So if you've got pressures on, like for example, I know that one of the main things I had to deal with once was Ofsted coming in, and it was my first Ofsted, and I was really nervous and really panicking about that, and obviously trying to make sure I was on it all day, trying to get everything done, being everywhere we needed to be at the right times, doing the right things, always on task. But when I explained to the children that Ofsted were going to be coming in, and explained who the inspector was and told them about her, a little bit about her and what I knew and what she was here to do and things like that, the children kind of knew that it wasn't actually something scary. It wasn't something to be scared of. Even though I was feeling it for me, I wasn't going to tell them I was scared or nervous or anything like that, because that would have meant that they would be the exact same. So I just said to them, look, this is a lady, she's coming and having a look at what we do today. She'll probably pop in and out over the course of the day. So we just need to show her how amazing we can be, because we are amazing. We're not really going to do anything differently than we normally would. We're going to have a good day. We're going to crack on. We're going to impress her. So always be on your guard and always have in your mind that we're going to impress her and show her what our school is really like. And you know what? They were incredible all day. Even though I was panicking, because I'd said, this is how we're going to respond to this new and unusual situation, they kind of went, yeah, all right then. They'd no reason to disbelieve me. They hadn't had something like that happen to them before. So they just cracked on with it and went, yeah, cool, all right. And even though I was obviously feeling the stress, and every time somebody walked up the corridor, I was panicking, thinking it was going to be the Ofsted inspector, the kids were brilliant. Whereas if I'd have said, I'm a little bit stressed today, we've got a lot going on, there's a lady coming in, she's going to watch me, she's going to see how good I am as a teacher, she's going to this, that and the other, the kids would have probably been like, oh, well, Miss Lamb looks stressed. Yeah, not good, not a good situation. So children look to you for responses when they aren't feeling great. If they're not feeling brilliant, obviously normalize that. If a child comes to you and says, I really don't feel like I can do this, normalize that response, but don't go, oh yeah, me neither, because then they'll go, oh, well, if you think it's stressful, I definitely think it's stressful. So that's an important one to remember, is that when in these earlier life experiences and when children overcome anything for the first time, whoever the adult is that they are with, they look to you for that response. And that's why you get children who are afraid of spiders, just like the parents are afraid of spiders. You get children who don't like heights because their parents don't like heights. You get children who won't eat certain foods because their parents won't eat certain foods. And it's all because when they look at that stressful situation, they look at how the parent has dealt with it and gone, right, well, I don't like that either, because they're learning from you. Your immediate response is what they will do too. So that's definitely something to bear in mind on that one. So with children, you would talk about all these different things in a much more child-friendly way. You would talk about the pictures with them. So you wouldn't go through all of that. You would do this instead. You would say, well, what does it look and feel like to you? Which of these pictures can you connect with? That little boy in the middle there looks like he's got tummy ache. If you feel stressed, does it give you a tummy ache? And things like that. So you just really talk about how it can be different for everybody, and be mindful still of the chronic stress. Usually it's something that adults deal with, but that's not to be underestimated. So children can come to school feeling like this on a daily basis. And as adults, we don't necessarily always see that, because we don't see them for the full, their entire waking day kind of thing. A lot of children will bottle up before they get to school and will release when they get home. So it's important to be mindful that if your children are coming to you with these sorts of symptoms, or you notice the changes in their behaviour, that it's likely that there's something going on that you're not quite seeing and you're not understanding a full picture. So just to be mindful of that. And finally, chronic stress particularly. Temporary stress, obviously, if you use that adrenaline up and the acute stress, it's kind of gone, that's fine. But chronic stress and constantly being slightly under pressure, even if it's only a very small amount, these situations are scientifically proven to depress the immune system. So if you constantly feel like you're stressed, your body gets tired of processing all those chemicals and it depresses your immune system. It can actually slow the healing process. So if you're poorly, or if you hurt yourself, as well as being stressed about all these different situations, it can hinder and slow down the process of healing your body, and also can hinder the effectiveness of any medication that you take, which I didn't know until I started studying for producing this program. And that actually genuinely really scared me, that actually being stressed can stop medication from working, because ultimately the medication is there for a reason. So your own body is hindering itself, and that, I can imagine, becomes a very, very negative, a very vicious circle. So that's definitely something to be mindful of. I've also read in onto a study, it was done at Harvard and a few other universities and colleges as well. Scientists discovered that people who were more stressful or suffered generally with more stress were much more likely to be quite shy, were much more likely to suppress any negative emotions that they felt, and were more likely to be unassertive or go the other way and be overly cooperative. So even in adults, you tend to see that over cooperation and that real eagerness to please sometimes as well. So that's it from me. I just wanted to kind of share that with you all, because I know that it's important. And like I say, some of those statistics and facts shocked me when I started researching. I hope that's given you a little bit of an insight into how this all sort of works. Like I say, if you want to know more about the Understanding and Managing Stress program, the sessions are all very much like that. So it's very talk based. There's activities that come from them, like written and paper. So you've got evidence and things there as well. They're differentiated for early years, key stage 1, lower key stage, upper key stage. There's a teaching presentation in there as well, which if you get the initial program, which like I say at the moment is half price, it comes with a Zoom session where I will go through each of the resources with you and go through all of that, and then you can see exactly the neuroscience involved and how the program works. There's optional extras on there as well, like teaching videos, so that it's designed for home learning. So if you ever have any classes isolated, although I hope that that's not the case anymore, you can stick things on your online learning platforms and the children can continue to learn at home. We've got parent workshops, assemblies, inset days, workshops with the children. There's lots of other things that we can add on should you want to know any more. In the meantime, if you head your way over to misstinks.co.uk, you can look at that stuff in more detail. If you found the video useful, as you know, I always have my comments turned off on YouTube, just because it means that everybody can access it then. there's no inappropriate content likely to be on there, although I can't control some of the adverts that they put on. If they split my video up with adverts, I don't have any say in that. All I can do is limit as much as I can, which I try and do. If you like what you've seen today, though, and you want to see any more, my link tree will be in the comments of the video, so you can have a look, find my social medias, let me know what you think on any of my social medias about the videos and see what you think. And also, if you hit subscribe, that would be super fabulous, because that will mean that I can keep producing content for you all, and when I upload videos, you will get a notification for that, so that you'll get to see them firsthand. Have a fabulous rest of the Wednesday, my absolute lovelies, and take care, stay safe, and believing is just the beginning. Bye.